Hey, what's going on, you guys? The Keith Carnes here, and I want to make a personal apology to one of my great subscribers, Matthew Ryan 90. I have been putting this off, and the reason is I was going to do Jack the Ripper for this past Sunday's Unsolved Mystery Talk, but I did the Black Dahlia because I completely forgot you requested it. I'm so sorry. I just went down my list, completely forgot that I was going to do a Jack Ripper. And that was my own personal fuck up, so I'm very, very sorry. I hope you don't feel I ignored you and was a douchebag, because that's not how I am. It's just, I don't know why I kept forgetting. So we're just going to go ahead and replace today's show of Unsolved. Criminal Mind. We're not going to replace it. This will go into the Criminal Mind talk, and the reason is that I don't really want to do this for this series, but I'm going to because I keep putting it off on accident. Was Jack the Ripper is an unsolved mystery, and it would originally go in my unsolved criminal thing, but I want to get it out now because I don't want to make Matthew Ryan. I don't want to make him wait until Sunday. So I hope I didn't offend anybody too much by putting this off. Anyway, so Jack the Ripper is our topic today. Quite an interesting story. Probably one of the most well-known unapprehended serial killers of all time. He went by the name Jack the Ripper. Nobody knows who he is. I read up on some. He killed. I believe he killed mainly prostitutes back in the late 1800s. He was, No, I've seen some of the death photos, of course. Most people that are interested in the Jack the Ripper case will know about, the death photos existing. He killed women, and he was never apprehended. Now, of course, back in the day, when it was going on, and not long after it happened, people, went on and on about sightings of who he was and had an idea of maybe who he was, but nobody was ever caught. It's kind of like the Zodiac Killer, very similar they were, except for, Jack the Ripper, he seemed to know who he wanted to kill. He had I think he picked them at random, but he liked to kill females, while the Zodiac, he killed both. He didn't discriminate on gender or anything, and he did pick his, I believe the Zodiac, he did his very random. The cab driver is a good example from the Zodiac, but not to get too off topic here. Jack the Ripper, he was a killer in the late 1800s. Not sure how many killed, but it's not really too surprising that he actually was never apprehended, because you got to think of the time. They didn't have any of the technologies we have. You're talking about years and years before the sinking of the Titanic took place. So that just gives you an idea of how long ago this was. It wasn't even 1900 yet. They didn't have any kind of computer technology. They didn't have really any forensics whatsoever. You got to remember, this is a time when committing murder and crimes similar of that nature were fairly easy to escape from and get away from, unless you were caught in the act, or you admitted it, or there was enough eyewitnesses to charge you with it. You were pretty much guaranteed to get away with murder back then, I would think. And Jack the Ripper, he was able to attack his victims with ease. He was able to do it with ease, I think, and he was able to get away because, like I said, they didn't have the technologies they had now. So that's what really favored Jack the Ripper, and that's what really favored other killers from way back then, such as the Zodiac Killer or the Black Dahlia murderer. That's what really benefited these maniacs, was that they were able to get away because they did not have the technology, with the exception of the Zodiac Killer, because the police department in San Francisco were just a bunch of fucking morons. But at the same time, they still didn't have the forensic technology that they really desperately needed back then. And now, so many decades have gone by since these murders that they're never going to be solved. That's the way it is. The Black Dahlia, it'll never be solved. The Zodiac, it'll probably never be solved. And Jack the Ripper, it'll definitely never be solved. So that's about it. I hope this video was what Matthew Ryan, I hope this is a video you expected. There's not really too much to say on Jack the Ripper, because unfortunately it was so long ago, and he killed a few people, and that was about it. So I hope it's what you expected. I'm sorry it took me a lot longer than it should have. It was almost a week ago that you asked for it. or so. I actually think it was longer than that. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, you asked me on September 9th, and it's the 20th. So sorry. Like I said, that was not intentional at all, and I hope I didn't piss you off. Anyway, this is the Keith Carnes. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you got any suggestions you want to see in a future episode of Unsolved Mystery Talk, Criminal Mind Talk, or Is It Real, hit me up and I will add it to my video playlist. That's going to do it for me. I am the Keith Carnes, and I will see you guys in the next piece.